Please welcome back Don Coscarelli.
Thank you all. I'd like to bring down my partner in crime, Dave, the hero of this piece, Mr. Chase Williamson. So maybe we could start by, Chase, you could tell us how you got involved in this movie.
Yeah, well, I went to theater school at USC, and then like 2 weeks later, I auditioned for this thing, and it was awesome.
That was a great story, because Chase came in and the only thing he'd done was a couple projects on YouTube. And the first day of shooting, there he is, he had to do like 6 pages of dialogue with Paul Giamatti. And I was terrified that he would seize up and paper lock.
As was I.
And he did a great job. So I guess we could start with, anybody have any questions? Or Chase and I could tell some a few stories. Sing us off.
We have some great ones.
Anybody have any questions for us out there? Oh, I see somebody way up there. Yes, up top.
What was the most expensive part of this production? Because when I saw the car crash, I was like, oh, money.
This guy.
Yeah, the talent, we had to pay quite a bit. No, in terms of expenses, I think we were pretty good about spreading it across the entire production. When we embarked on the thing, I really didn't realize in terms of effects, how many visual effects shots that we had. I probably should have plotted that out while I was writing the script. And it became a little bit overwhelming. One of the choices, of course, was I tried to use as much practical effects, prosthetics and what have you, but to achieve some of them, we really needed to move over into the digital arena, which actually, I thought helped, and we were able to do things that we couldn't do. Although the good news is that the meat monster was a man in a suit. Yes. So anybody else have a question out there? We don't want to sing. Oh yeah, there you go.
What made you choose to pick up this project? And when doing it, did you have Army of Darkness somewhere in the back of your mind?
Well, look, anybody who's an aficionado of the genre has to hold the Evil Dead trilogy in high esteem. I mean, my preference is Evil Dead 2, actually, but Army of Darkness is no slouch. Actually, this is the first movie I've ever been involved that was determined by a robot, because I had this guilty pleasure this was like 2008. I was about twice a year I'd allow myself to read a zombie fiction novel, because I really enjoy those. And I've been buying them from this small market press called Permuted Press, and I got this email in my mailbox which said that if you like this zombie novel, you are going to love John Dies at the End. And so I read the log line, and it was right. Now later, I was thinking, well, how did that really happen? Maybe Korok was manipulating things on this side to get it to me. But that's just a joke, of course. I started reading this book, and it pretty much just like the screen. It started with that riddle, which really grabbed me, and then pretty soon, they were trapped down in this basement, and John was saying, that door cannot be opened, and I was hooked, and I had to try to bring it to the screen. So anybody else got a question out there? Yes?
Just, I'm a composer, so I was interested to hear why you chose the styles of music that you did. Like, obviously the Western theme was great, been walking out, and some of the other music was just really cool.
Hey, thank you so much. That's Brian Tyler, who had done the score for a lot of really great movies. Even before I worked with him on Bubba Hotep, he had done a movie which had a lot of great spaghetti western style guitar, which was Sixth Street Samurai. Right. And I just always liked that style. And he used a lot of that in our Elvis movie, but it was maybe a little more realistic to use it in that. I don't know, the idea, I was asking for something heroic for the guys. And that was really Brian's suggestion. You know, he played it on the guitar, and I thought, well, let's just try it. Because, you know, I've been, you know, watching those, you know, Leone films and those Ennio Morricone scores for years, and they always, you know, kind of bring a chill up my spine, and so we just went with it. But he was all over the place, and I thought he really did a good job in interpreting, you know, audibly what a soy sauce experience might be. So, yes.
How long have you been working on the script, and how long did it take you to shoot the whole movie?
Well, one thing that I've learned for the aspiring filmmakers out there, there's really, in my mind, only one way that you can make a good movie, and that's with having a lot of shooting days. So whenever I'm approaching a movie, I'm trying to manage and organize the money so that everything is focused on keeping costs low so that we can have a long time to shoot. I mean, many people, I know Chase has just starred in a film right after John dies at the end, and I think they shot on, what, a 20-day budget?
I think like 12 or 13.
Something like 12 days, very difficult. I'm sure his movie's gonna be great, but that's a hard way to make a movie on that, you know, you just don't have any time. And I think we probably, with the effect shooting, probably shot about 55 days on this movie. But, you know, of course, well, I'd like to introduce somebody here. Our cinematographer sitting back there, Mr. Mike Gioulakis, please stand up. We didn't pay very well, did we? Come on down, Mike. Help us here, all right? But we kept the budget very low and didn't and tried to focus and spend it where we could. Was there another part of the question I forgot, or was this one?
How long was the script?
Oh, the script. That was a big challenge because we had a 350-page novel, and it's really dense and it's rich. And I highly recommend that if anybody had any interest in this movie, you check out the novel because there's so much more in terms of the adventures of Dave and John in that novel. But obviously, you know, having made a few movies, you start to realize that, you know, the human ass can only sit in a theater seat for so long. So that really is why a feature movie is about 90 minutes or maybe 2 hours at the max. And so I tried to shave it down, so I probably cut 2/3 of the book. I could not use 2/3 of the book. But then some of the stuff was really epic and big and would have been impossible for us to create. But while I got Mike up here, would you like to tell us about the visual style and how we achieved it?
Lights and camera. More lights.
Mike's only got a few words, he speaks with images. So anybody else have a question out there? Yes, in the back.
What kind of market are you predicting for this? Because I can see it being used at Halloween. You could get a groupie that would want to see it every year.
I think that's a great idea. I think the answer is simply, we'll take whatever market we can get. So, you know, obviously, you guys came out tonight, so we'll start with this core audience, and maybe we can build out from there, in theory, anyway. So, anybody got another question? Yes, over on the side.
What was it like working with the dog, and how did you choose the animal?
Well, the dog is a wonderful dog, and he's just beautiful, as you can see. He happens to be owned by the producer of the movie, and he did not impose on us to put him in. I had seen this dog. His real name is Barkley, and he's a really sweet dog. I think that breed, you know, while he's good and he's loyal and hardworking and trustworthy, you know, he's not like the sharpest knife in the drawer. But you know, it was just a function of trying to keep the work that he had to do pretty simple. And we did hire a trainer who was an interesting woman, and she had this annoying habit of, the dog was really good for about a half an hour, and then he would get tired and want to go lay down and nap. And she had this annoying habit of bringing him out onto the set before we were ready for him. And he would be doing the things that we wanted, but we couldn't get the camera or the lights finished. And then he would get tired and then he wouldn't work. We finally trained her to do that. We trained the trainer how to do that, and it worked out okay. But I think the biggest risk probably we took on the movie, though, was to use, because he's some kind of strange breed. No one knows exactly what he is. There's something like maybe Husky or Malamute or some different kinds of things because he was taken from a pound. But to embark on a movie like this where the dog has to do action over a number of weeks and then not have like a second dog that looks the same is like insane and suicide. And yet we worked, we got everything that was done, and it wasn't until maybe a month or two after we wrapped that poor Barkley got this skin condition and like hunks of fur were just coming off of his face. Yeah, well now it's cleared up and he's well. But if that would have happened while we were shooting, it would have just been a disaster. So always have two dogs that look the same. Yeah, right in the middle.
Yeah, when and how did Paul Giamatti get involved?
Paul got involved early on. He was probably once I had finished the script. I had met him because he was Paul is really a patron of the genre arts. He loves horror and sci-fi and stuff like that. And even though, in a way, he's stereotyped into the more, esoteric movies and things, he really likes gore and guts in his movies. And he, his work with Rob Zombie on projects, and he had been a big fan of Bubba Hotel. And I found out, I read an interview once where they asked him what director he wanted to work with, and it had my name written there. And I thought, wow, there must have been a misprint. But I got with him, and I had tried to get him into a sequel to Bubba Hotel. And written this really cool, it's a great script that unfortunately will never be made, but he was going to play Colonel Parker, Elvis's manager, and I think it really could have made for a great continuation of the legacy, or the legend of it. But it just didn't work out. Bruce Campbell declined to participate in the movie, so we didn't make it. But I found that the Amazon email had come to me in the interim, and from very early on, I could see that there was this cool role, and I thought, well, maybe he would do it. We wouldn't need that many days out of him, and his managers would be okay with it, and they were, and he came. And he's actually helped out as an executive producer, helped us to get some of the funding and to help with the distribution. So he's really a great guy, and obviously the second greatest actor on the planet. Anyway, that was the Paul story. Any other questions back there?